I'm pretty sure it's working now. It is working. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next game in the DelotA Dota 2 Amateur Tournament. I am Just Delicious and risen from his ashes like a gorgeous phoenix. Once again, Mr. Wonderful Vague Raconteur. He is finally back.
Hello, yes, finally I'm back. Forgive me for being ill for so long, but today we have Entropy versus Extreme Range, who forgot to set their team. I'm very upset about that, but at least they are here. They are here, and we're going to see exactly what they have to do today. I'm just so glad to finally be back.
Yeah, it's been a long time. We know how much you struggle with team names, so hopefully you won't be too problematic. Most of them do have XR at the beginning of their name though, so that should help you out a little bit. But yeah, we're seeing some pretty standard bans at the moment. The Nyx Assassin, the Undying, going almost straight away. And as I saw in the last game, Silencer finally into captain's mode. He got picked up, and he got absolutely destroyed by Templar Assassin in mid.
Well, Silencer versus Templar Assassin, the choice is obvious. I mean, Silencer doesn't have that really good of an escape. He can't, well, he barely has any escape. He can't really do that much. And against the Templar Assassin, especially when those glaives are costing a mana and not really actually doing it. Glaives, whatever those amazing throwing things are.
Yeah, the glaives.
Do the extra damage and don't actually hit because of refraction. It just means that it's wasting resources on them. But as for the moment, we're seeing very standard bans. Of course, there are about 5 extremely overpowered heroes at the moment in this version. We have Nyx Assassin, Batrider, and Dying. Some consider, some don't, but normally we see him in the top of the ban list. Who on earth am I missing? And Darkseer.
And Magnus.
And Magnus, there we go, those are the 5. And we should probably see one of those banned out next, because Entropy are going to get the first pick, and we do not, well, Entropy will, but Extreme Rage will not want to give them a Magnus, surely. But they're taking their time about it, so maybe they're thinking, maybe they're trying to quell it over, is Magnus worth giving to them? Do they have a bad strategy against him? Because we've seen a few people go strangely against Magnus. We've seen a Brewmaster in mid against Magnus and do extremely, really well, so you could see possibly whatever happens, we'll be here to find out. They're going into the reserve turn, they're really thinking about this. So what do you think they'll do, JD?
It's probably almost certainly going to be a Magnus ban. I can't imagine they're going to want to give away such a strong mid-hero. We've seen him be picked up once or twice in this tournament so far, and he has had a massive impact wherever he's been picked up, so I'd be very surprised if they let him go. But then again, they've got to toss up the fact that if they give him away, then if they don't give him away, so Entropy are going to be picking up more than likely Darkseer, and Darkseer is one of those heroes, once again, that is so unique in his spells, but so absurdly powerful as well. His teamfight contribution is absolutely insane, so they're probably just tossing up which one of those two they actually want to ban, because giving away a Darkseer sometimes can be just as bad as giving away a Magnus, depending on your team composition.
Absolutely, and it's interesting that Entropy have actually, despite having first pick, banned out the Nyx Assassin. So if they're not going to be picking up Keeper of the Light or Shadow Demon pretty much instantly, they'll be giving away that combo to Extreme Range if we want to use it. But we have to point out...
we may have to have a remake. We may actually have to have a remake. Because it looks like it's actually the captain. I'll just say we will have to remake this, guys. I don't think if this actually gets shown to everyone or not in this chat channel, but I figured I'd type it anyway, because this is it doesn't.
It does indeed. We have
okay.
Members of Entropy just messaging us now to you never know, we might hold them to that just in case.
Okay. Alright, I will be remaking. We will be back very shortly. In fact, everybody at home, everybody watching this is going to be able to see us remake this game, so yay. I hope you're all extremely happy with that. You're going to watch me make this channel. There we go. That was that's so extreme fun. We can still hear Vague, hopefully. I believe we can still hear Vague. Yeah, we can, because it's not over Dota. I keep getting confused whether it's over Dota or not. But yeah, the first bans will have to stay the same, but that Meepo pick won't be won't be stuck in stone. So I think they did that as a joke anyway, so it's fine.
Well, I would have loved it if they're actually serious, because we have never seen a Meepo in a tournament play for very obvious reasons, considering it's insane. He's insane to try and control, especially when you're against people that have some skill. They just die. The first band's the same exactly as we'd expect, so we have that kind of set in stone. It's just poor Extreme Rage managing to disconnect back then.
Yeah, that was a little bit unlucky, but yeah. Yeah, we figured. But yeah, it's it's one of those things. Sometimes some countries just their internet is just so bad that their net will just drop randomly for no reason, and hopefully they'll get back in. And when they do get back in, hopefully they will actually set their team so that Vague doesn't get confused constantly.
I
You won't
find that
you won't have to
confusing.
handle them. You'll have to you can handle your good friend's Entropy on the Dire. I'll be taking Extreme, so you don't need to remember too much about them at the beginning of the game. You can ease into it a little bit.
Well, it doesn't bother me that much. It's just I love to see the names there because it's so much prettier. You see the banners, you see everything else, and it's more homely. You feel like they've made it their own. They've kind of moved in, put up the curtains in the form of those banners. It's pretty.
Yeah, it is a nice thing to see. It does make it look a little bit more professional, which is what we want. We're always looking to increase the professionalism of our casting and of our tournament as a whole. So that will of course help. I don't know who Miracle is. Oh, Miracle plays for them. Sure, they've rejoined now, which is really nice. We remind them to set their team once their last player comes in. We might be able to remind them to set their team now. Osama, okay, apparently something to do with Osama. We'll just let that go. Yeah, they just letting them know. Right, okay, but yeah, we've had some pretty interesting things happen for DelotA recently. The March tournament is going ahead as normal. You can all sign up on our Facebook page, facebook.com/DelotA2tournaments. We have delota.co.uk, which is of course our website, and as we said, Vague is back after a very long absence, which has caused me much grief and much heartache.
Well, you have to forgive me. You will have to forgive me. I've been very ill, unfortunately. Every time I stood up, I nearly passed out. But fortunately, everything's okay now. All good. It will be absolutely fine. We'll see these guys play. Again, we're really sorry that they disconnect, but we can't help it. This is one of the things that comes in having a worldwide tournament. Some guys, they have to play in an internet cafe, and it doesn't really give them the kind of it doesn't give them the great kind of abilities that some countries get, and that's the kind of advantage that maybe won't go so nicely in in other teams' favours. But they try their hardest, and they really have fun, and we see some great teams all over.
Yeah, we really do. Like Imbo were especially a very nice team, and it was really nice to see them win the last tournament, and so were Ian Tell actually in the final as well. Same, I'm gonna just write same bands. Yep. Um, it looks like we're all ready, and it looks like we are going to be going pretty soon, which is good. Which is good. We are finally going to be starting, and we're finally going to get onto the game. So. Everybody is ready. And we're off. Okay, we will be getting back into this game now. So yeah, a little thing to note, Vague, was that I was talking to the captain of one of the teams about this silencer versus TA in mid, and they actually seemed to like the matchup that he brought. I'm not entirely sure why they liked the matchup, but apparently they were thinking about the silencer in mid against the TA, and it seems that a few teams have thought about it, but I've just never seen the appeal. I can't see how he can really beat TA in mid. I mean, he has his curse, but as long as the TA player is a little bit less obvious with the refractions and only puts them up once the curse has been used on her. She also has meld, which is obviously very cheap spell. So I just can't see what Silencer can really do.
Well, no, neither do I. Normally, I like to try and give the other view and possibly make something seem a little more interesting, but honestly, what has Silencer got that can go against a Templar Assassin? Obviously, if any people want to try and put us a comment up on the Facebook or anything, up on our Facebook or anything like that, you're more than welcome to, but we can't really think of anything that actually allows him to be that amazing. Of course, the glaives do a lot of damage, so maybe if you're trying to take down refraction quickly, or maybe the tick, maybe it's the tick on the silencing move. The name escapes me now.
Yeah, last word.
Yeah, last word.
Yeah, after they've revamped Last Word, I suppose there is some reason why you might think that's useful, but the only problem is, again, as soon as Last Word get used, if she just uses a spell and if she has Refraction up, it does absolutely nothing. And going straight away into the picks, Magnus being given away by Extreme Rage. They did go with the Darkseer, as we were speculating whether they would go for either of those. They gave away the Magnus and they immediately pick Wisp and Keeper of the Light, and that is their big thing against Magnus. They the recall and the relocate is obviously very, very strong. In general, and they're going to be porting around the map like no man's business.
Well, absolutely, as you were saying, they go so beautifully well together because Keeper's able to call someone up from wherever, and Whisper's just able to bring someone in for a crucial 12 seconds, which is pretty much the length of any normal team fight unless something gets carried on. So these two, the Extreme are going to be trying to control the map as much as they can, and they're going to do a really, really nice job of it. So this is what they're going to have to counter now, and Entropy going for the lifesteal. You know, he's an incredibly strong carry. He manages to take out any kind of Sven, anything like that. A really strong strength-based hero is pretty much out of the equation now because lifestealer benefits so strongly from them having a high health pool. But you know, they have a decent counter to that. If he brings out a Phantom Assassin, lifestealer normally doesn't have any kind of cleave unless they got him that, which would be very unorthodox. Apart from if they try to pick him up a Mjolnir, which are more likely to see a Skull Basher, it would be very difficult for them to shut down a Phantom Lancer, and Phantom Lancer hasn't been banned yet, so going for Lifesteal as the main carry could potentially be shut down, but it's a great pick so far.
Yeah, Lifesteal is very, very good against Keeper of the Light and Wisp, though, you have to say as well, because of his rage and his open wounds. He can just absolutely destroy those two heroes. They're so squishy. And yeah, but Phantom Lancer is probably the biggest carry right now in this meta. He is so unbelievably good. It's so difficult to shut him down. The only way you can really beat him is by continually ganking him at bottom. And but Extreme don't care. They've gone for the Gyrocopter, so they have completely forsaken Phantom Lancer. Both of these teams have, and they're going to be picking up a Gyrocopter and Lifestealer instead, which is a little bit odd. But sometimes we do see that.
Well, you know, I'm going to go in Extreme's favour here. I've personally played Gyrocopter myself against Lifestealer and kind of good in houses with a few professionals, and no, it works. It does work. Gyrocopter is able to keep his range. The slow, fantastic. If you're able to waste, you can make Lifestealer waste his rage with your homing missile because he never wants to miss it. Then you can use your speed advantage to just kind of beat out Lifestealer, unless it's gone for a Phase Boots and a Blink Dagger, which we've seen him Fuse do. Our professional showcase team, it's really difficult for Lifestealer to actually keep up with Gyro, so he can just make sure his ultimate lands, get all that burst damage, and then just completely destroy Lifestealer with Rocket Barrage.
Yeah, Rocket Barrage is very, very good early game. It scales quite well into the mid game as well. It's not like the best spell in the world, but it's quite useful, and it's going to be interesting to see whether Extreme Rage can deal with a Magnus. They have a plan. They had a plan. They knew they were going to pick Magnus, and they immediately picked Wisp and Keeper as their sort of counter to that Magnus. And it's going to be interesting to see whether that actually works, because they do have a lot of range. You got to say they do have a lot of range. I mean, Keeper of the Light and Gyrocopter do not need to be in the fight at all to be effective, because Gyrocopter has a massive range on his ultimate, and his Rocket Barrage can come in from quite a distance. The Keeper of the Light's Illuminate, obviously, very, very good. So they don't need to be at the front of the fight where Magnus needs to be using that reverse polarity. And maybe just the fact that they have a lot more range than Entropy do could work in their favour. I mean, I've seen it happen before. Magnus get shut down just because the entire opposite team is just so spread out and can work. And there's the Beastmaster as well, so they're going to be using that ulti with it. That's extreme range to be to really help them fight against Entropy.
Well, that's going to come in so nicely against Lifestealer. They'll wait until the rage is gone. That ultimate is ridiculous. Absolutely.
It goes through
ridiculous.
BKB, remember?
It does indeed. I was wondering, does it go through Rage as well, or has Rage got the exact same effect?
It goes straight through. The stun goes straight through, but the damage does not.
Well, it just stacks so nicely. As we're saying, Primal Roar is perfect. It goes really nice with Keeper of the Lights Illuminate so that they can stun through that rage. Lifestealer is stuck there. He can't do anything. And then you've got all this burst coming through. Gyrocopter's ulti, Keeper of the Light, they just wait to make sure the timing is right, and they can completely nuke down that Lifestealer, which is what Extreme Rage are looking to do. And they've got this Beastmaster, so we could probably expect to see him maybe stacking Ancient to Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter was a flat cannon, able to just destroy everything there. But I'm going to put it in favour of Extreme Rage's terms here. I think they've got a nicer team for handling this Lifestealer carry in particular, and Magnus will have a very hard time shutting them down.
Yeah, he really will. And Beastmaster will certainly be on the off lane, just using his axes to stack the ancient camp while he gets the little XP that he'll be able to get. But he doesn't really need a lot of it. He can keep stacking that ancient camp with his axes, and then he can hopefully get all that farm when he's a little bit higher level. Leshrac getting picked up by Entropy as their last pick. So there's possibly the last really strong support hero left after the bannings, and Leshrac will be picked up. They got Bounty Hunter as well, so Bounty Hunter will be on the offlane. They are going to be looking to put him up against Beastmaster because he will be so good against Beastmaster. And Invoker, last pick by Extreme Range, so he will be mid, and he will be up against Magnus. So that is going to be a very interesting little mid battle going on there.
Well, I honestly don't know who to give it to. Actually, no, I'm going to put it in favour of Extreme Rage again, because if, and only if, Miracle goes quite heavily into Quaz, well, not that heavily, about 3 points into Quaz early game, we'll be able to give him a complete advantage and just be able to shake off any shockwave damage.
Yeah, and I will be, as normal, running through the Radiant team, and then we'll be flicking over to Vague, who will be handling the Dire. So we will see. I can't read this name. Nizu will be on the Wisp, going over to mid. We have Miracle, who will be handling the Invoker. We have Roronaro, Zorro, who will be taking up the Beastmaster. We see Mistake on the Keep of the Light. And last but not least, Bloodlust will be taking on the Gyrocopter.
And for the Dire, if we look up top lane, we have Rodan going on Lifestealer. We have Savage on Bounty Hunter, Chemistry on the Magnus, Life Clown on Jakiro, and FaZe on the Leshrac.
Yeah, and this mid battle is going to be probably the most interesting. You have to say that whether Magnus can keep up with his shockwaves, I think he probably can. And he's picked up a stout shield already, so he knows that the Invoker is going to be harassing him quite heavily. So he's forsaken going for a fast bottle just to get that survivability, so he can really shockwave as much as possible and really damage this Invoker as much as he can, because the early levels for Invoker is going to be very important. If Invoker can get shut down, he has 0 regen. So he's really just relying on the quads to regen him, and if he gets shut down by Magnus at the early levels through a lot of shockwaves, he's going to be in a lot of trouble when it gets to the mid game, because Magnus is going to have a massive level and farm advantage over him.
Absolutely. I'm just going to point out Rodan going for what looks like more of a jungle build, a Quelling Blade and a stout shield. Obviously very helpful for a melee hero against a ranged lane to try and get last hits, but possibly we could see him sneaking into the jungle to avoid being ganked off at an earlier level.
Yeah, if he ever needs to, there's no reason why not. He's got the ability to, and then he can give his supports a little bit of farm. He's picked up Feast at level 1, as you were expecting. Lots and lots of pings coming out as the wards get placed. The invisibility rune is there, and there's the D-warding coming out from Extreme Rage. So they've got the slight upper hand at the moment. They did pick up the sentries at the start, and which Entropy didn't do. So they do have a very slight advantage.
Actually, FaZe did pick up the 2 sentry wards on the Leshrac, so we could potentially see him counter-warding as well. But it looks like they're probably going to save those for Beast for any potential ganks as well. Let's not forget Invoker in mid has that invisibility in terms of Ghost Walk, so we could very easily see them saving that until Invoker's level 7.
Yeah, definitely, and then you have to, Magnus picking up Skewer at level 1, so he's not going to be able to do much harass until he's actually at level 2, but as soon as he starts harassing this Invoker, he's going to have such a nice time, since Invoker has absolutely 0 regen, and Magnus has a pot and tangos, so the Magnus is going to have a much nicer time once he finally hits level 2. He's very slightly behind at the moment. That's because the Invoker's actually got 3 denies to his 1, so the Invoker's taking a very slight early lead, actually quite a heavy early lead if you have a look at the last hits and denies.
Well, I've got to say, Jimmy, you cannot forget that Invoker has all the regen he needs. He's got Quaz. Quaz is more powerful than any load of tangos you could ever want on any kind of healing salves. He puts another point in that's a permanent tango, and he does not need to worry at all about Shockwave. And look how much it's giving him now. 8 last hits and 3 denies, compared to a petty 1 last hit and 1 deny from Chemistry. He's having a nightmare in mid, and Invoker's completely taking the lead. And can you blame him? I said Miracle will probably have the advantage here because of that Quaz, and it is doing everything for him. He's got 2 points in it now. Cold Snap's so powerful. He's just doing everything you'd expect Invoker to do.
Yeah, he's got his plus 9 HP regen. That's a ridiculous amount at this early level, and the shockwave spam will be coming out from Magnus, but I don't think he's going to be able to get his bottle at all fast enough. and he needs to get that bottle early so that he can keep that spam going, because Invoker is going to start walking away with this lane if he can regen up before the next shockwave comes out, and he's already gone for double blades of attack, so he has everything he needs. And looking at top, actually getting very, very adventurous, are Extreme Rage, going all the way through to the jungle, maybe to try and stop the pulling of the wave, and all three of them went in there. It was a little bit a little bit extreme, if you pardon the pun, but it seemed to be okay. They got away from it.
Sorry, I thought that was quite good. Life Clan actually pretty low in health. It looks like he could be in danger, but no. It looks like they're going to keep that fine. Gyrocopter hasn't spec'd into homing missiles, instead choosing flat cannon for just a little bit of early harassment as well as getting the last hit, so that's really nicely done of him. And Rocket Barrage, obviously the most powerful spell for Gyrocopter this early into the game, considering homing missile can be so easily avoided by the Lifestealer.
Yeah, and one thing we do have to note is that look at the last hits and denies. The Xtreme are just winning every single lane right now. The Beastmaster is doing so well down at bottom against Bounty Hunter. He's really just kind of ruling it. He has his bottle. He's just spamming those wild axes on him and just doing absolutely everything he can to keep Bounty Hunter shut down. And he's sitting 12-5 while Bounty Hunter is at 6-0. And mid is getting won quite easily again by Miracle on the Invoker over Chemistry, and then the long lane is not quite as bad, but it's still looking definitely in Extreme's favour right now.
Oh, absolutely. As I was saying, actually, Beastmaster surprisingly doing a fantastic job against Bounty Hunter, and it is down to this extreme leveling of wild axes. Not a single point in Call of the Wild. He's not worried about that at all. He's just going straight for attack speed to try and get as many last hits as possible and do as much damage as possible with wild axes, almost killing the Bounty Hunter there. Look at that.
That is a ridiculous amount of damage, and he's probably just gonna. Savage does have the pot, so he will be able to just pot up, but Ronarara does have the rune, and as soon as he's level 6, you have to feel that there's going to be a massive problem for Entropy with the amount of gank that's going to be coming out from Extreme Rage, especially with this Beastmaster. He's a pick that's come slightly back into the meta recently, and he's really good on this offlane. As you can see, he's working so well.
Meanwhile in mid, Magnus has actually had to go all the way back to base. Miracle is just winning this without any kind of shadow of a doubt. He's got the boots coming to him now, so who have phase boots. He's level 6. This is going to be so easy for him if they don't start shutting him down faster. And let's not forget, the second he has that, he's got his 3 points in quaz, so he can't really be affected that much by shockwave, as Magnus is having a horrible time. Doesn't even have enough for his bottle yet.
Yeah, it's really not going well for Magnus whatsoever. He's only on 430 gold, and he's got his stout shield and a few ironwood branches, but that's literally it. And Invoker is absolutely dominating this mid lane. He's up to level 6 already. Chemistry still level 4, and the Invoker on 25 and 11 is just miles ahead.
Well, this is the advantage of having not only range being so valuable, but Invoker's regen is always going to be just top notch. The second you have 3 points in, better than having a tango. What more could you ask for? It allows him to have a cold snap. It's everything you'd want to do in Invoker against Magnus, and it is such a viable counter as long as you keep really on top of his attack speeds and animations.
Yeah, we really need to keep an eye on this Beastmaster though, because he's now got his ultimate. So the Primal Roar is up on Beastmaster, and it's got 200 damage. If he can hit Bounty Hunter with that, Bounty Hunter's just going to straight up die. And I think that's what Beastmaster's doing. Beastmaster's actually teleporting down. He has a haste rune, so he's going to pop that, and he's just going to leg it straight onto this lane, and he's going to ultimate if he can. This Lifestealer. Out comes the homing missile, but the smoke gank from the water. He has the haste rune. Here he goes. He's just going to use it on FaZe, and FaZe is going to die almost instantaneously. Lifestealer still hanging around. Lifestealer gets dropped as well. First blood goes to Extreme Rage, and there's the power of Beastmaster.
Brilliantly played there by Extreme. Roar and Nana coming in so quickly, brought it up to top. Standard mistake, had absolutely no time to wait, just popping that smoke, catch Mizu as well, and they're actually taking the advantage of the time that Smoke has to be able to use Tether to make Beastmaster even faster. It was just absolutely everything you wanted to see.
Yeah, it was a really nice gank. They played that one very well, and Keep of the Light, that Illuminate spam, just really shutting down anything that the Entropy can bring to the table to try and stop this push. The one little ice path comes out from the Jakiro, but then he has to back off as another Illuminate comes over the top, and they're certainly going to be getting this tower now. One more right click will do it from the Gyrocopter. He doesn't actually get the last hit, but that's not going to concern him too much. They do get the tower, and in mid, Miracle actually dives Chemistry, gets the kill, and now backs off. He's now level 8 compared to level 5 from Chemistry, and he did exactly what he needed to do. He ganked him before he got that level 6.
Well, it's just going so strongly in Xtreme's favour. I think at 6 minutes in, it's pretty safe to say we can look at the experience in Gold Grassland now, and it's going so well in Xtreme's favour so far. Almost 2,000 up for Xtreme in terms of experience, and plus almost 5,000 up in terms of gold. They're really, really doing well, but let's not forget, this early on, just a small team fight winning it could completely turn it around for Entropy. They just need that Magnus to get his bottle, and which he has now. And the second he has his ultimate as well, they could really do some damage. As
Miracle
well as
in
Xtreme.
mid. Miracle in mid diving phase. He has the cold snap. He's going to pick him up as well. Leshrak gets the stun off before he dies, but Magnus still not level 6. Really can't do anything. He tried to charge, completely misses. Maybe Miracle's going to go for a double kill. Chemistry trying to bottle up. Will he actually be able to take out Miracle? He's heading for the rune. There's absolutely nothing there. One more right click after this will get him. Nice dodge.
Well, actually, it looks like Miracle could turn this around. The health has been completely dropped. Now Miracle has the advantage. Oh, Shockwave perfectly landed. Will this be able to catch him out? The skewer is off cooldown. Everything's off cooldown. He's got his regen, though, so insane. Now Magnus has a Tango. That's 8.5 regen. He's got the advantage. That Tornado just misses, nicely avoided. But Miracle has a slight advantage there, and that it's a little bit faster, is a little bit better at avoiding. And this Invoker is doing everything you could ever want an Invoker to do. Just so impressive play.
Yeah, he's really ganking extremely well. He's gone for Quaz Wex, so he's definitely going to be playing him more as a support or more of a ganker, which is kind of what they want, especially since they have Beastmaster. They've really gone for this ganking route with the Wisp, and Wisp and Beastmaster is such a strong combo. You can't forget that. As soon as Wisp gets to level 6, he can just relocate Beastmaster directly on top of any of them, ready for the Primal Roar. And that's going to be pretty important as soon as it comes. Beastmaster almost has a mech as well after 8 minutes, so he's really doing very well for himself.
Well, Extreme Range have the top 3 points and last hits and denies the Invoker, Gyrocopter, and the Beastmaster, almost all having 40 last hits each, and all around the 10 to 15 deny mark, so really nicely done by them. But the problem is, Entropy never really counter-warding, never really doing anything like that, just putting up wards again, hoping for the best, but Extreme are just having such a great time here. They're so much more coordinated, and that's the problem. It's probably the range advantage here. I'm going to have to say it's the range advantage that's giving them such a great edge over these guys.
Yeah, we did call it at the start that the range is going to be important, but they do dive on mistake, and maybe a little bit of a mistake by him. Pardon, yet another pun, and he's already going to die. Although the Jakiro hasn't actually got enough move speed. No one's got enough move speed. They couldn't get him, and they have to back off. Keeper survives on 50 HP. One more right click from anybody would have got him. And Chemistry didn't pop the ultimate. He didn't feel like he needed to, but maybe that was a little bit of a mistake, and maybe he should have just to try and get that kill.
Well, they really desperately need to start getting a kill. Chemistry needs to use that ultimate. Bloodlust now could actually be caught out, but there's Miracle around as well. He just uses Rocky Barrage, and Chemistry is definitely going to go down, isn't he? No, he didn't even get to use his ultimate. He should have been a little bit hastier, and Extreme turned it around. That delay is crucial. Teams cannot ever wait around if they want to get in a team fight, because it just causes deaths like that, exactly as we've seen.
Yeah, well, he didn't know whether to go for it or not, because he could only ever hit one hero at a time. He probably again should have just gone for it, but as soon as the Beastmaster and Wisp had TP'd on top of him, he was just straight up dead. The roar came straight out on Magnus, and that 2 second stun, no sorry, 3 second stun on the Magnus just got him killed just instantaneously. It's a really, again, nice play by Extreme Range, and you can see how good this Beastmaster is actually playing out for them.
Absolutely, and then Miracle's going on Phase. Phase's health is so low because he's not got a single item other than Gauntlets of Strength. He got open wounds, but it's still so fast due to the Phase boost. And it's going, he's got a hater in as well, so he's just doing so much. The Wisp comes in and it's stunning everyone. The thrower down is going to fall down, surely. Yes, he is. Invoker gets another kill, 5 in a row. Absolutely insane. And now Savage is the only one left, and he hasn't even got enough mana. He's just going to have enough now for a Shadow Wall. Surely he's going to use it because he doesn't want to get caught out. Just
yeah,
unbelievable
a huge 4 for 0. for xtreme, and that's exactly what they wanted to do, and that's exactly what they did do. I mean, you saw the Invoker just diving behind. His tornado caught everybody, and so did the EMP. And the Magnus tried to pop the ultimate, but he just couldn't get it off in time again, because this Beastmaster always on top of him. Every single time he tries to fight, he's getting locked down, Heather or the Beastmaster Raw, and it's just really not working whatsoever for Chemistry right now.
Well, I'm going to call this straight... Oh, now the Beastmaster Raw comes out, the ultimate. Rowan Nano always so accurate with those wild axes, it's absolutely insane, and the EMP from Miracle completely clears him off. He gets a double kill. He's got a gem now, so Bounty Hunter has no hope, because they just can't kill Miracle. He's gone fully into Quas and Wex. He's so tanky, he hasn't even bothered to put a point in Exort, so he's not even gone for the tiniest bit of carry potential, but he's just such a great ganker. Life Clown's going to fall now, another perfect wild axes, and finally, Keeper the Lights Illuminate clears him off. How insane is this?
It's really working out exceptionally well. The cold snap with the wild axes is just absolutely ridiculous amount of damage, because they hit 3 or 4 times, sorry, all in a row. So you do get all of that extra cold snap burst damage at the same time, and it's just so insane. It's working so well for them, and it's exactly what they wanted. It's exactly what's happening. And look at FaZe's HP just get melted by those axes at level 4. They do a ridiculous amount of damage.
Well, you have to give credit to Beastmaster's skill tree. He hasn't gone for a single point in Call of the Wild, just straight up axes and his attack speed, which helps all of his team. And when they go in for these team fights, it means that it's almost all over for Entropy. 15-0 now. If we look at the experience and goals rush, actually no, let's not look at that right now, because everyone has come in. Savage completely out of his ability there, and everybody just got destroyed. The GGs have already been called, because the positioning there was horrible. That was the word I was looking for. You have to forgive me. But skills constantly. What has killed them here? Wild axes, always cold snap, the tornadoes, the tether from Wisp giving so many stuns, and Keeper of the Lights Illuminate always coming through with Chakra Magic to keep everyone's mana up. The GGs have been called. The game is officially over. Complete domination.